Okay, well, we have a couple of guests tonight. I'm going to introduce them as we get to them. Norm Pond, I'm going to have him actually introduce himself. Norm, where did you grow up and go to college, and how'd you get to California?
I grew up on a farm in southern Missouri. Went to school at what's now called the Missouri Institute of Science and Technology. It had many different names in between. And my intent was after graduation to go to graduate school in the Midwest, but just prior to graduation, Hughes Aircraft showed up on campus, did interviews, offered me a job to go to LA and also attend UCLA on a fellowship. So a couple of weeks later, Natalie and I were in the 57 Chevy headed west.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you ended up down in LA. Well, how'd you end up coming up to California then? Or up to Northern California? The important part of California. Didn't they have an earthquake this morning? What brought you north?
Well, I had a great job at Hughes. I worked on some really exciting stuff, but was not too happy with LA, and we had an opportunity to come up here and took it.
So where did tubes come from? You studied them, you spent a lot of time in them. Kind of trace where tubes came from the early Edison days.
Well, I think you touched on a good part of that in your charts. I think the key events that led to this technology was the light bulb, of course. But then the next big thing had nothing to do with vacuum. It was the discovery of radio by Marconi. Around 1900, he was able to allegedly send a signal from across the Atlantic and detect it. So that was very exciting, led to explosion of radio. I think a number of activities occurred to try to improve radio. One of those was the DeForest invention that you mentioned.